I think if you're a long-term investor, missing Tesla will be the greatest mistake you'll ever make.
Hey, I'm Steven and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So in this video, we're talking a little bit more about the Tesla stock split and what it means for investors. We're going to watch a few clips of Ross Gerber and I'll add some comments where I think it's relevant. Let's dive in. Hey guys, if you're in the US and you'd like up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account and fund it with $100, you get 2 free stocks, one of them valued up to $1,400. And if you're in Australia, the UK or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake using the link in the description. Let's get back to it.
Ross, I'm so glad you were available to discuss this morning. You've been our Tesla bull for ever. It's up over 255%, and it's up over $1,000 since yesterday when this stock split was announced right after the bell. Did you expect it? Do you love it? What are your concerns?
Well, we were actually asking Tesla to split the stock for a couple reasons. So we had reached out to the company and spoken to investors relations about the fact that when the stock is so high priced, it's so hard for smaller investors to buy shares. And despite many firms offering slices of shares, that's a very high cost way for investors to own shares. So this makes a lot of sense for Tesla for a lot of reasons. One, it increases their shareholder base and it spreads their shares among more people easier. And two, that creates more stability for the stock longer term. And that also hurts short sellers' ability to get stock as well. So, this is a great move for Tesla. It's also symbolic of basically everything going right for Tesla right now. So we've come a long way in a year and we're very, very bullish on Tesla.
For those of you at home keeping score, since the announcement of the Tesla stock split, the stock has moved up 18%. Who knows if this ends up coming back a little bit or continuing on, I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make here is that if you think about it logically and reasonably, it makes zero logical sense. Nothing fundamental has changed about Tesla or the company itself, right? Nothing's changed. The stock price is now up just because they've announced they're doing a stock split. Completely illogical, completely irrational, but completely understandable. More liquidity, now younger investors who couldn't get into the market because they simply couldn't afford Tesla stock and didn't have access to fractional shares now have the opportunity to get into the stock. However, it is worth considering that none of those investors are already buying the stock because the announcement has been made but the split hasn't taken place. That's still a couple of weeks away. So who's buying the stock now? These are investors, I think, that just like the idea of this new crowd coming into the stock in the future. Quite interesting the dynamic going on here because it isn't a direct result of these new investors getting into Tesla stock that's pushed the price up. So what happens at the end of the month after the stock splits and all these new investors can now be paying a few $100s instead of over $1,000 for Tesla stock? Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think will happen to the stock after the split actually takes place? Do you think we'll see it continue growing? You think it's going to go down, go sideways? Who knows? Spoiler alert, nobody does, but hey, leave your guess below. You might be right.
It's amazing because what we saw with Apple was the run up. It was below $400 when the stock split 4-for-1 was announced, and it's been running up, until that August 31st date when it actually really happens. Are you surprised to see Tesla running up now? It's up about 8%. How high do you think this can go ahead of the stock split, which is set for the end of the month?
Well, Tesla stock is obviously highly valued and for good reason. So I can't really tell you if the stock's going to go higher or not. Obviously, that would just be speculation. But I think that when you look at Tesla over the next 2 years and the fact that the Gigafactory in Berlin is moving along nicely, and they've already started in Austin for the truck factory and another Gigafactory, and I think those will both be done in 2 years in producing vehicles, Tesla can more than double its size again and dominate the EV and energy industries over the next 5 years. So I think if you're a long-term investor, missing Tesla will be the greatest mistake you'll ever make.
I'm in complete and utter agreement with Ross here. For those of you who don't know, Tesla stock comprises well over 90% of my stock portfolio. And I know a few of you are going to be like, what the hell, this guy's insane, what an absolute moron, haven't you heard of diversification? You do not need to worry about me, I'll be okay, alright? I've got a pretty good track record with investing. To be clear, I do actually own some real estate, but this wasn't me trying to diversify. I went all in on real estate for about the first 7 years of my investment career before I diversified into stocks, okay? I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't diversify, but for me personally, Personally, I would much rather specialize and know what the fuck I'm doing than try and scatter my money around the place because I'm scared that I'll fuck up too many investment decisions, and that's the only way to protect myself. With that being said, there's a reason that I'm so heavily concentrated in Tesla. It's because I genuinely believe this is a once in a decade, once in a generation opportunity to invest in. I have not seen another opportunity like this in more than a decade of looking at investments.
I think if you're a long-term investor, missing Tesla will be the greatest mistake you'll ever make.
Wow, a lot of people said that about Amazon or Apple.
Yeah, and Apple.
So
and I rode Apple my whole career.
In size.
I'll be honest, your previous guest was talking about something that we do at Gerber Kawasaki, which is concentrate on technology. There's no doubt after 27 years of investing that if you're not invested in the best U.S. technology companies, you will never gain the kind of wealth that you have the potential to gain. So stocks like Apple a decade ago, Tim Cook has guided the company so successfully. And now we look at a company like Tesla just beginning its run. If you miss these companies, the Amazons, the Googles, the Teslas, you're never going to reach your financial goals. So I think we're seeing investors realize how few companies there are like Tesla, and that's why it has an extreme premium.
Ross is just dropping truth bomb after truth bomb. And again, we're totally on the same page. I just checked for you guys. My stock portfolio, 99.04% is comprised of 3 US tech companies: Tesla, Amazon, Google. 99.04% of my entire stock portfolio in 3 US tech companies, and my returns are absolutely ridiculous. Of course, I've only owned the stocks for around 4.5 years, so who knows what happens in the future, but I'm making a bet literally that they'll do a little bit better than the overall market. That's why I don't own garbage, I don't own the old world, I don't own dinosaurs, I don't own fossils. I don't care about the past, I care about the future, and if it doesn't involve tech, it isn't the future.
So when you talk about how few companies there are like Tesla, EV is very hot, right? And I know they're not Tesla, but NIO, Nikola, just to name a few names that have been of late, right? The names of late, Workhorse. These names have come up. Even today, we heard one analyst say that NIO could be the Tesla type of thing of China. I know you think it's laughable, right? But what is it that you love about Tesla? What is Tesla going to do? Elon Musk with his genius vision, and that's why people love Elon Musk. I'm not even sure if he weren't at the helm, if people would believe in Tesla the way they did. What model do you love? What is the genius behind Tesla going forward?
Well, I think what this is really about, and Elon talked about this long ago, it's the factory is the factory. It's like, how many factories can we build that can produce EV batteries? The real thing about EVs, and what I learned through all my time at Tesla, was how difficult it is to scale battery production and do this reliably and then mass produce a car out of it. So I think all of the Tesla competitors, as much as I'm rooting for them and I want EVs to be successful, none of them have been able to make their own batteries, and none of them have been able to scale their batteries. And in the case of Nikola, they've got a whole nother system under using hydrogen, which I don't even think works very well when you have to build a whole new infrastructure. So right now, Tesla is the only horse in this race, and all the other players are niche players at best, like NIO. NIO makes a nice car, and maybe they can make money, but can they make 500,000 or 1 million EVs? No chance. And so Tesla's on the road to 1 million cars a year in the next 2 years, and I don't think there's anybody that can do that, has the technology, and that's what it's really about. Elon is an engineer. In his heart, he is an engineer, and none of these other CEOs are. So they just don't get how difficult this technology is to achieve.
This is a super important and often overlooked point. Having a CEO who is an engineer, but beyond that has a degree in physics and literally understands the universe from the atoms up gives you an enormous advantage when the core of your business is innovating in disruptive technology, new engineering, new ways of doing things more efficiently, better. The key here is engineering. Most other CEOs out there have a ton of blind spots because they do not have the physics understanding, the engineering mindset to actually see how can these problems be solved at a fundamental level. They rely on other people to tell them how do we get from here to here. This is why so many CEOs of most other automakers out there have had their blinkers on and been completely blind to the fact that it was urgent that they immediately invest heavily in developing electric vehicles. They're all now because they waited too long, because they didn't know what they didn't know. This is why Tesla's so far ahead. Most of these CEOs are still asleep at the wheel. They're not engineers. They just don't get what's happening right now. They just can't see it. They're blind to it.
And you've said that about Nikola before. When you and I have chatted, you just didn't have a lot of faith in that company, at least not right now, for what they say they can do. Here's my last question to you. Is Elon Musk flexing, doing a 5-for-1 stock split instead of Tim Cook's 4-for-1 split?
No, I don't think it had anything to do with that. We recommended 5-for-1 because they had about 200 million shares outstanding. So that would bring them to 1 billion shares. It's a real nice number for, being able to value the company easily by the stock price movements. So I don't think there was any relevance to competing with Tim Cook. What I really think it is Elon cares about his shareholders. He listens to his shareholders. He answers them on Twitter. And they were saying, and I was saying the same thing, make it easy for people to buy the stock. A lot of people don't have $1,500. They want to invest $300-400. We work with tons of small clients at my firm. That's what we do at Gerber Kawasaki is we help people build wealth, and we want them to own Tesla. But when they can't even buy one share, it sucks. I mean, I can't even tell you how many clients we have with like 2 shares of Tesla, And so it's like, give people the opportunity to invest. And that's what Elon wants to do. That's why he also has voting shares. Elon doesn't have this BS super class share structure that you get with all these other tech companies. And so he really runs the company for the benefit of his shareholders. And he's the biggest one. So, good job to Elon. Good job to the Tesla team. You guys have been awesome and have executed on everything they've said they were going to do. And I'm excited for the future.
Ross definitely isn't the only one who's excited for Tesla's future. I'm also really excited just to see what happens when the stock split actually takes effect. I've been thinking a little bit about this. So there's 2 types of people that may now invest in Tesla stock that aren't already. There's people that were investors sitting on the sideline. They just couldn't afford the stock, but they already really wanted to invest in the stock. They were investment minded. They want to get ahead financially. That's awesome. There's this whole separate potential buyer of Tesla stock. People who love the brand, who are super excited about it, who weren't really investment minded, but now all of a sudden the stock is within reach. Maybe it's an opportunity. So some of these people, I think, that just love the brand, that think Teslas are the coolest thing that have ever existed, may actually learn about the stock, realize they can afford it, go, damn son, I can't afford a Tesla, but hell yeah, I can afford a stock or 2. This may actually encourage some of those people to invest as well. This isn't a certainty. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I've got a little bit of feeling, unscientific, I know, but a bit of a feeling that there'll be some people out there that just love Tesla so much, that younger demographic who aspire to own a Tesla in the future, who may actually look into the stock now and eventually end up investing just because it's now affordable. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think is going to happen after the stock split actually takes effect and these new investors are now able to buy Tesla stock potentially for the first time? I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And of course, don't forget your free stocks with WeBull. If you're in the US, you can start a new account with WeBull using my link below. Deposit $100, you'll get 2 free stocks, one of them valued up to $1,400. And if you're in Australia, New Zealand, or the UK, you can get a free stock using the link in the description to stake.
Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.